Welcome to Knafs at Night. I'm Ben.
I'm Austin.
And today we're talking about how many pounds of prototypes it takes to design a knife.
We're getting into some retro gaming. Don't throw this one at your TV.
And lastly, Matt has taken his 3D printing to a galaxy far, far away.
This is the way.
Let's go!
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Today we're going to start out with the nitty-gritties of knife design, where it goes, how you start it, and how you end up with a final product that actually cuts.
Oh boy.
I know,
Yeah.
right? So I have all these prototypes on the table. This is what we're going to be going to for a final product. So this is our Lulu model. Let me show you what this actually looks like here. So right in here is where I started drawing, okay? So when I started, if you look at this, what does that say there, Austin?
Lander fixed blade.
Lander fixed blade. So the
Yeah.
original idea was I was going to take the Lander design and turn it into a fixed blade.
Yeah.
Well, so you can see my design iterations, and by the time I got down here with like a really just okay drawing, it's not a Lander anymore. These look nothing alike, right? The handles are different. Like they're very simple lines, but I'm like, oh dang, this is a different knife. So what happened is I got into it. So you start with a drawing, whether you draw in Illustrator or paper, wherever you do it.
Let me ask, did you get to that bottom drawing in your first round of drawing? Was that
was
like,
probably like one.
you iterated all the way down?
Yeah, that was like one session to get to there.
Cool.
But then what I do is I take it into Adobe Illustrator and I 2D it. And what I do from there is what I like to call CAD, cardboard aided design. I took that from Fitz's dad, actually.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So Matt Fitz is our in-house designer,
Yep.
and his dad works for this company that makes roller coasters and crazy stuff. And he always encourages his like interns and people to do CAD, to do cardboard aided design. Like, how fast, how quickly can you get to something that might be semi-real someday?
Interesting.
So I always start with cardboard.
Rapid prototyping.
Yeah, like crazy rapid prototyping, and I use our label printer. Like literally, it's a label printer. Like this is not even ink. I'm not even paying for ink. I use our label printer because then I can just pull the sticker off and slap it on there. But basically, I'm taking this and saying, okay, how does this sort of feel in hand?
Okay. How did you know?
So how do you like that?
How did you know where to start on this? Like, how did you know that after I draw it, I need to make it in cardboard and I need to know how it feels in my hand?
I don't know. Like I think that you're like going for this idea of like, what does this? Because knives are all about feel, right?
Yeah.
They're all about like this moment where you pick something up and you're like, oh, I like that. Or I don't like that, right? And that's kind of the game that I play. And so I'm trying to get there as quickly as possible.
I'll be honest, that's a good way to do it. That feels way more like a rounded micarta handle than you would ever imagine looking at it.
I mean, it looks terrible.
It looks horrible.
So from there, on this particular project, I was like, I'm going to learn CAD.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it didn't go very well very quickly. But I did learn how to model. So I opened up Fusion 360 and I learned how to model. So I actually modeled these myself.
Okay.
The first and maybe only thing I've ever modeled is exactly what you're looking at here.
Very nice.
These knife scales that would have gone on here. And they fit, by the way.
I bet. And they may have stuck out quite a bit, maybe.
So
by
there's
how
a thing
thick
called
they are.
sculpting
Okay.
inside of like these CAD programs. I don't know how to sculpt.
Yeah.
And I quickly learned, Ben, this is not for you. Like, so I think a big part of design is all about communication. It's being able to say, this is my idea. How do we make it real?
Okay.
And then communicating it all the way to final product. So on this particular one, I made this outline and then I 3D printed it. And then I took just modeling clay from the Hobby Lobby, or as my children say, hobbity lobbity.
I love it.
And we go to Hobby Lobby, we get this clay, and I started just sculpting it right there like a small child.
Yeah.
And feel that.
Now, this makes perfect sense to me. It's like you put something soft in there, you squeeze your hand, and you're like, I know that this is going to reflect what my hand wants to feel like when I squeeze it.
Now, that one to me, and maybe...
That feels great.
Well, I actually felt like it was just a little long and didn't feel the hand quite right.
It's slim in the hand, more so than the Lulu Current is.
Yep. And then what I did next was made the blade a little thicker. Actually, I think at this point I'd sent it to White River.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, we got to make the blade thicker, and the handle was nowhere near right. And so I went back to the clay, did V2 in clay. Now feel that, and check this out. This is where it gets fun to me.
Okay.
Feel that, now feel the final.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty dang close.
Very, very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that I can feel is maybe there's a bit more of a palm swell on the clay than there is on the micarta.
Yeah, so that's That's what happened next. And then it was like iteration after iteration. So this was the first sculpted version coming from White River. So I went out and found a supplier, White River, that could make it for us in Michigan. And if you look at that, it's super thin compared to what I had in mind. Now, this is where it's all communication, right? Because you have to communicate back and forth with the supplier, whoever's making it, or your machine if you're making it yourself. Okay, this is not right. This is where prototyping becomes really fun.
So is that immediately when you printed this out, you're like, oh, this is clearly slimmer than I wanted it to be?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it in your hand.
Yeah, you almost like can't lock it in. It's so slim in there.
Now, with this particular knife, I wanted, the Lulu was supposed to be a whittler that you could sit there and carry or whittle with for hours. If it's thinner like this, it's going to cause hot spots in your hand.
Absolutely.
It's going to be easier to carry but cause hot spots. And I'm like, no, this is a whittling knife. So I always, when I design, I start with a purpose in mind. Like, what are we doing purpose-wise on this thing? So went from there, and then we basically sat there. That got thicker, but we played with the handle length because something was not quite right in the handle length. So I think we went, I don't know, like an eighth of an inch bigger in the handle length there, and then we finalized it on V3.
Would you say that was mostly aesthetics for you and not so much how it felt in the hand, or it was about the feel as well?
No, it definitely went straight to like what feels right.
Okay.
Like, feel that in your hand. I wish I could do this with all of you at home because
let me have you feel this, you guys. Yes.
if you feel that now feel the final.
Yeah.
There's just like maybe a quarter inch more of handle in there.
I also am not eloquent enough to give the words, but the way that it fills your hand is very different. Like I know, maybe there's some golfers out there. In golf, with a putter, you typically have a thicker grip. And the reason is because that distributes kind of your grip a little bit more equally across it, and you don't have to collapse your hand so much to hold on to something. And I think that there's a similar practice here where it's like you're not forcing those muscles closed as hard, so it's a more relaxed sort of grip that you can putt with. Yeah.
So I'm sure there are scientists that know how this stuff works. I go absolutely off of how does this feel. In fact, on this particular one, I sent it back and forth to my friend Tyler. Tyler was in a whole bunch of Blade HQ videos back in the day, Tyler White. Yeah. And I was like, Tyler, you do a ton of bushcraft. How does this feel? And he's like, it needs to be longer. And to me, design, especially knife design, has everything to do with, number one, purpose. What's it supposed to do? But then number two, how does it feel, right? Like, if it doesn't feel right, don't make it, right?
I think for me, that's part of the most interesting thing about your process is it's really easy to just chalk it all up to, this is the knife for Ben. Ben made a knife for him, basically. Yeah. But I don't think that it's very obvious all the time that you actually you host, what are they called, like feedback groups and stuff like that all the time, or you more so when you were starting out, I would say.
Well, and I still do. I mean, even around the office, I will pass things around. I was there the other day. It was just the ops team and me. And I was working on a knife design, and I passed it around to all three of them. Yeah. Like, here, try this. Yeah. Here, try that. And they're like, this needs to change. And you just kind of, I hate to say it, but it's like, does it feel right?
I think when you're talking about something that only works in your hand, it has to feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So from there, what happens is send it off to White River. They do all of the catting, all of the camming, and then they come out with a prototype. This is an unsharpened one. May have starred in a Bob Ross video at some point. Yes. And you can see, obviously, unground. And this is like our final check. Like, are we there? The answer was yes, and we went to production. So,
amazing.
Here's a blank you can see that we were experimenting with.
Yeah.
And then some burgundy. There's one set of burgundy Lulu scales out there. They live in our drawer.
A little blood red almost.
Yeah. So this is part of the game, is you have to say, okay, is that the right burgundy? No. It needs to be more red. Yeah. And so I really enjoy this process. I've had a few people over the years ask, how do I design a pocket knife? Now, this is so oversimplified.
Absolutely.
This is hours and hours of like understanding and research and talking to people.
How long do you think this project took from first drawing to that final sharpened knife?
Well, this was 2023.
Yep.
This was in January of 23-ish.
Yep.
And then we launched in October of 23. So actually fairly quick.
Yeah. 8-10 months.
A lot of times, depending on how many changes you make, it's the changes, iterations, and that's where the challenges come in. Right. Honestly. So if you guys want to know more about knife design, let me know in the comments. We can answer some of those questions. I get a kick out of this. I hope it's enjoyable because we just spent 10 minutes talking about it.
That's right.
Whew. What's next, Austin?
Let's talk about the newsletter giveaway. If you guys don't know, we give away a Lander one every single week. All you have to do is sign up for our regular old email newsletter. You can do that in the link in the description. This week we've got Julius H. from Denmark.
Okay, can I just tell you?
That's cool.
The folks in Denmark warm my heart.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was in Denmark 3-4 months ago. And I was at the airport. I'd coordinated beforehand. This guy named Kenneth came and picked me up. And then he posted a picture of us in like this Denmark group. And then I joined the Denmark group on Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm like an honorary Danish.
You're a Dane.
EDC member of the community. So
cool.
Love those guys. I'm stoked that Julius won that.
Right on. Shout out to Denmark. Coming back to the Knafs News, we are talking about Nino's knife kits. You guys have probably seen we're doing all kinds of promos for the holiday season, and we're giving away Nino's knife kits this week. So starting today, Friday, if you're watching this video as it comes out, any order over $24 will get you a free PLA plastic printed Nino's knife kit.
That's a stocking stuffer, so spend a little and you get a stocking stuffer. By the way, you can 3D print these at home if you have a 3D printer.
Yeah.
And a little tip for anybody making them at home: if you snip off the edges, they go in a lot easier.
Yeah, you want good clearance on those little pegs. So.
Yep.
Super
What else
cool.
have we got going on, Austin?
Oh man, we're getting into some retro gaming.
Ooh, I like this.
Yes, so here's the 3 for you. I've got the 2 here. But these are Lander emotes. So I'm going to show you the ones first. These are not the originals because there was a banter version initially. But these were the original Lander emotes that we did. So numbered limited runs. These first ones were 100 and 200 units, I think. No, they were both 150 and 200. But we're doing 200 units, numbered limited edition. It's got a special engraving on the back of the blade there as well. This one's got a little toad mushroom. That one's got a little turtle shell. So yeah, really fun. If you're a retro gamer, if you just want to complete your collection, if you've got the other 2, these are available.
These are fun. So the story behind this is what happened is my friend Michael of Misheard Knife Reviews and Aurora Knife and Tool hit us up. He hit me up like 4 years ago. He's like, I've got this idea for the Wii Banter. What if you made a Wii Banter remote?
Whoa.
And so I think we did like 300 sets of those scales back in like 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, that was fun. Let's put it on the Lander and do a Lander remote.
Lander remote.
So this is the 4th and 5th in the edition.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. I think this might be the last.
Yeah. Whether you guys, buy them all up or maybe there's a cease and desist that comes in, we're not sure. But this could be the last one.
Don't sue us.
Definitely grab them while they're hot and definitely enjoy the retro gaming vibes on those.
So we're not lawyers. We've said this before. But like, if we were, we would be pushing the limits of parody.
We would.
And we would be researching previous cases of parody.
I would say there's a case to be made, but we don't want to have to make it.
We don't want to make that case.
So.
I mean, isn't court like, the whole thing about court is like, who has the most money wins.
Yeah, who's got time and money. That's basically what it does.
I know there's this little company in Japan that would win that all day.
I think so. Just a little mom and pop shop over there that would do it. So.
Amazing.
Yeah, super cool. That's it for the news, and we're on to Moon Crew Moments.
Moon Crew Moments.
Heck yes. And we're actually doing some Reddit this week.
Yeah, so here's the deal, guys. We like the Moon Crew on Facebook. We love them. But we also noticed this week that there were some fun things happening on the Reddit sphere. On this particular subreddit, Fixblade EDC, there's a Baby Banter Fixie clip point.
Yeah. I love what this person has done with their little Baby Banter fixed blade there.
This is dang cool.
Really cool.
I've always said, like, if you buy a brand new knife and then you modify it immediately, that might not have been the knife that you want. I'm starting to think about that differently, though. I think there are people who are like, no, this is a canvas.
Yeah.
We are going to turn this into the knife that we specifically want. And this is cool. I love it.
It is cool. I think the first comment under that one is like, this is the blade shape it should have originally come with. I'm not totally in agreement with that, but I think it's like a really nice option. So very cool.
And somebody said, I like this better than the original. Good job. Somebody else said, ordered my first ever Baby Banter folder today. Now you're giving me thoughts.
Oh.
As in, pull out that workshop grinder and go to work. Yes. I think that's the thing. It's like, this is not a Sebenza you're modifying, right? Like, you're not spending $600 on a knife and then turning it into a different blade shape.
And maybe that's the great part, right? It's a $60 knife. It is that canvas, like you said, at that price. So go ahead and test it out.
I love it.
Yeah, super cool. And
How many times have I said I love it today? I wonder.
We've got more knife mods on Reddit as well. This one, probably Flyaway Tuna, we kind of decided.
Yeah.
And he has turned, I think that's a Lander 1, into a harpoon blade. So I have seen him do some Tonto stuff in the past, but this harpoon is another level.
When we were doing pre-pro on this, I was thinking, what is a harpoon for? Like, can you let me know in the comments, what is a harpoon shape? Is this just, I think it's visual. Like, you think about like a harpoon.
Yeah.
Like, sure, snag the great white whale.
Yeah. And
But like,
hold it. Yeah.
on a Lander 1, I think this is purely aesthetic.
Yeah,
Which
maybe
I'm okay with.
Maybe it holds on to your grapes as you stab them a little better or something like that. I don't know, but that's the best thought I have.
I just love seeing a shop and somebody like just going ham on their knife. It's fun.
Super cool.
So if you have mods, send them our way. We enjoy that stuff. It's highly enjoyable.
Right on. And we're on to Ship Shape Sharpening Shop.
Send it to Keith.
Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop. Today we've got a few interesting things. We've got a CRKT CEO. Good old classic Rogers design. This is an old USA made buck. It's pretty cool. This one was fun to sharpen.
Did you sharpen all of those blades?
I did, I sharpened them all. There's 3 of them here. I actually sharpened it like this.
Wolverine.
That's right, exactly. We got one more, we got a fixed blade. This sheath is pretty sick. Nice leather sheath, very old, very nice. This is Alaskan, Knives of Alaska knife. Pretty awesome. Very aggressive jimping here. You could almost use the jimping as a saw. Wouldn't recommend though. All right guys, back to you at the desk.
And we're back with a product spotlight.
Who are we talking about this week?
I can't even get the intro right today. And we're back with the product spotlight. We got some fun today, Austin.
Who are we talking about?
Okay, we're talking about Lazy 3 Leather
Love those
Company.
guys down there.
So they're down in Ivins, Utah.
Yes.
So southern Utah, about 5 hours from here. And they do all sorts of beautiful leather. They do our Lulu sheath for the large Lulu and the regular. Look at that. Wicket and Craig.
Wicket and
Have a
Craig.
smell?
Ooh, it smells better than boots.
So I love these guys. It's a mom and pop shop that
Yes.
is literally in their garage.
Yeah.
And they just sit there and they make leather all day long. So I was actually down there last week when I was there for Thanksgiving, not at their house, but in the area.
Yeah.
And they just do beautiful work. So we have them doing 1, 2, and
Yes.
this was kind of part of your. I didn't work on this.
Now the 4, yeah. So this has been a bit of a project of the ops team of mine, I would say. And this is the Lander 4 in-pocket sheath. So we're going to have the black and the brown versions. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but we've had some, rounds of feedback with Lazy 3, talking about product design earlier.
Yeah.
This is the same process, right? We initially came in and they were a little too tight. They didn't quite work for the sheep's foot blade. So we asked them to make a smaller, what is this insert called here again?
A welt.
A welt, maybe a slightly smaller welt in there to clear the blade and add some more, less tension even. So yeah, it's been a process, and we love working with the guys down there at Lazy 3.
The thing about them, like, it's all USA leather,
Yeah.
all USA made.
Yeah.
None of it's cheap.
None of it.
Which I think, like, it's sort of that old adage, like, you can have fast, cheap. What's the other part of the triangle?
Quality.
Quality.
Yeah.
And this is like.
Quality and fast.
And fast.
Yeah.
But you can't have cheap.
Yeah, it can't be cheap.
By the way, Lander 4 is progressing.
Yes.
I saw some pictures this week of the various models almost finished.
Yeah.
So if you are a Lander 4 backer on Kickstarter, it is on the way. So
And they
super
make
fun.
other stuff, don't they?
They do. So
Yeah,
when I was there.
What the heck is this thing on the table?
When I was there, this was sitting on their workbench. I'm like, guys, what is this? And they're like, well, it's just a little, I forget the skin it is, but it's a paperweight.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I was
they-
wondering if it was like a worry stone or something.
Well, and I started playing with it like a worry stone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what is this?
Yeah.
Paperweight. And they're like, take it with you. And I'm like, no, that's not what I was playing with.
Yeah.
But try it.
Yeah,
Try it.
it's like, you might be able to hear that it's got like beads in it of some sort, like some shot or something in
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I would just like flip this in my hand all day. Like
Yes.
that just like gives me the
Try it on
fizz
the back
just
of your
doing
hand.
that.
Flip it on the back of your hand.
Oh,
Yeah,
not quite, not quite.
Give it a
but
try.
That's nice. That's
Isn't
nice
that
right
nice?
there.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, that's beautiful.
You can borrow it for a day if you
I
need.
might have to. That might be a top pocket carry right
The
there.
other thing that they do down there that I think is really cool, and I was sitting there, I was like, can I put anything on Knafs at night? And they were like, well, this would be useful for our business. So they actually make these Scout carry sheaths. So this goes on your belt.
Yep.
Scout carry is when it's carried right in the small of your back.
Yep.
Back there. And they make this one. They make them for a couple different knives. This one is for the White River Model
Model 1.
Oh,
Yep.
that's a good name.
That's a good name.
So this one goes right in there, and it's just a lovely sheath.
That is a beautiful piece. Like I almost can see it on like a cowboy in like a sporting goods store or something like that, but that's just elegant. I like it.
Yeah, totally. So they make these two. These are available on their website, lazy3leather.com. I think. Let's check that.
If not, we'll put it on the screen.
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah.
But one part about making things for me is working with people that I enjoy working with.
Yes.
It's highly enjoyable
Yeah.
because like I was down there in their shop brainstorming a new project out of weird materials and weird ideas. And it's like, I love this process of like, we sketch something out. We're like, well, what if we move this and move that? Like, I get such a kick out of that creation process. These guys are super fun to work with. They do a great job. They make stuff for Knafs, but they also make their own stuff as well.
Yep. So they do a great job.
Product spotlight.
Yeah.
Done.
Let's go. Good
What's
job,
next?
Lazy3. Let's talk about the mail.
Ooh.
Yes, we're on to Mailbox here.
I don't know what's even in the mailbox.
This week we've definitely got comments, and we've got
Ooh, this is a fun one.
and an update as well.
Okay.
So tell me, I don't know a thing about this knife.
Okay. This knife is called the the
Tempest?
Microjet.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Guys, some days we don't have good brains, and today might be one of those.
Struggling.
This is the Tempest Knives Microjet. Now, this is designed by Casey, who runs the YouTube channel Knives Fast.
Okay.
Again, Tempest Knives, Knives Fast, Casey. You have to
Casey.
remember three things.
That's too much.
But this is one of his designs. It's beautiful, and I think Kubi is making it.
Okay.
Beautiful titanium, and then there's these beautiful milled pockets in there as well.
Yeah.
So he sent me one of these. I was on his podcast the other day.
Oh, cool.
And we talked the gamut.
Yeah.
All sorts of fun things.
Okay.
Highly enjoyable, but beautiful knife, and it's got that inline flipper.
I love this thing. I like I said, I don't know anything about it other than I've got to play with it for a couple minutes here. And number one, it sounds like a titanium knife, which I like. It's got that like kind of hollow titanium sound to it. And then the flipper works awesome, and I love the cutout for the thumb too. It works good as a little thumb hole there. So I think this is a nicely done knife. Works very well, I will say.
It's fun. And when you talk about designing a knife, this is a guy who had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Wanted to design a knife.
Yeah.
Made it happen.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love it.
I think it's fantastic.
I know it's a different world we're living in, but it gives we're option people, right? Like I feel like knives, all we care about is options. Give us more options.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's good for everybody.
Totally.
Sweet.
By the way, if you would like us to put something on the show, here's our address. No guarantees we'll put it on.
Yes.
But we like mail, and if there's something that you're like, hey, check this out, here we are.
I think we like being stoked about things that you guys are passionate about. So if you got something you're passionate about, send it to us.
Send us your train.
Yeah, we're
Send
excited.
us your boxcar train.
We'll feature your train on the show. That's right.
Then we may give it away to other friends.
That's
but
okay. That's okay. Should we do an EDC update?
Let's do an EDC update.
Let's do it. So Ben caught this on my keychain earlier. If you guys watched our holiday gift guide video, you probably saw the little Olight. I think this is called the iMini. This is the iMini 2. But this is the updated version. It's got the little USB charger there on the back that you can just pull off the little guard, and then it clips on your keys. I have a carabiner over there, and it just clips right on your keys. It's super convenient. I can't believe it.
Now, you were telling me, though, this is the USB charging one.
Yes.
The one we showed on the video was...
No longer, it's discontinued.
It's discontinued.
Yes.
Which is funny because you're like, I wish it were a little smaller.
Yes.
Everything is trade-offs.
I know, it is.
It's all
and
trade-offs.
there is a convenience factor, and I will say they did a good job with the carabiner. They give you the carabiner, and it clips right on there. It's just easy to put on your keys, but it's too big.
It's too big.
Yeah, that's
oh,
okay.
Man.
That's okay. I'm still going to carry it. I like it.
Okay, Austin.
What do you got?
We talked about this nomadic backpack the other day.
Yes.
And I took it on a trip to Georgia.
Okay.
And then it became my EDC bag.
Did you carry it in the woods?
I mean, it was Georgia Bushcrafts is in the woods, but not really.
Okay.
It's more of like a farm.
Okay. I was like, this is looking good.
I mean, it's getting a little patina on there, but what I realized is this is actually a perfect EDC bag. So it's camera bag down here. I put my laptop in the back. I put my lunch in the top, and I carry it to work every day. So I turned a camera bag into my EDC bag. Thank you, Peter McKinnon and Nomadic.
Nice.
Not sponsored.
That's right.
But if they want
Could be.
If they want to sponsor, we might need that money for an upcoming cease and desist coming from Japan.
Seriously.
But I think maybe a follow-up on that conversation is like, we're constantly carrying things, we're constantly using things.
Yeah.
and it's fun to change it up.
It
and
is.
Find what you like and what you enjoy.
Well, and speaking about asking people to mail us stuff that they're passionate about, like, I don't know that I'm passionate about it, but this little mechanism of this light and the way it turns on when it pops out of there, oh, it really just, it gets me nice. So I enjoy playing with it, which means I love carrying it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we get into some comments here?
Oh, yeah. Somebody asked, is the Lander 2 clip point coming back? Here's the deal, guys. You swallowed those knives up. They were gone.
Yeah.
Just ate them right up.
Yep.
Yes, it's coming back. In fact, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we've already got another order in.
We have placed an order. There are units being produced right now that will be on the way soon.
And if you don't want a Lander 2, you can always get a Lander 3. I've been carrying this one for a couple weeks now, and highly enjoy that 3.
Yep, and if you love the touch of color, you get more color out of the 3 because you got those anodized liners. So,
which, by the way, talking about EDC.
Yeah.
So I'm carrying the Sancho pen.
Yes.
I almost feel like I have to because it's like not out yet. If
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
wants to see it, it's like, yeah, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
I put the Sancho pen clipped to my pants and the
Yes.
Lander 3. Look
Those
at
are
that.
rubbing together.
They are, which is an
Yes.
interesting thing because if you're carrying a plastic pen, it damages nothing.
That would never happen.
But I use this toothpick. You have no idea. All the time. Don't touch it, it's gross. I don't know how you clean in there. At some point, it might become a problem.
We'll figure that out. That's for future us to figure out.
But anyway, man, we got so many projects happening.
We do.
These, by the way, if you're a Kickstarter backer,
Yeah.
are in production.
Yeah.
And probably arriving to us early January.
Very early next year.
So
Absolutely.
It's an exciting moment. We have
Really
a
cool.
lot of moving parts right now.
Yeah, beginning of the year is going to be great.
That was a long answer.
That's okay. We had some feedback from the field trip episode when we
tank
went
crew.
to, from the tank crew. That's right. Ben, this is from BFVGNR. This is Ben. It's not a tank, it's a ferret, an obsolete British Army Scout car.
And then he goes on to talk about the history.
He tells us the history.
The said ferret.
He says it's a completely tracked version of the scimitar tracked vehicle family called the Saber. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That somebody is so passionate about knives and tanks that they watched to the middle of that episode,
Yeah.
saw that thing, typed it up.
Yep.
I love that. The nerdery is a delight.
pretty deep.
Next up, the Lander 3 clip point is my favorite EDC now. Gotta say, get one ASAP. Any idea when this will be available in Europe and Italy? It's probably there-ish, now-ish.
Yeah, I would look at Kato for Europe.
Knives and tools.
Yep, it should be in there. Lander 3 clip point, I would think that's already there. Yep.
Somebody said we need that Moon Crew pledge on a shirt.
Yeah.
We laughed about that.
We had a good chuckle. Yeah. Maybe not. Here's the deal. We're all nerds. We love it. We're here for the good times, the inside jokes, right? But I don't know. Tell us, is there more of you? Leave more comments about this. If 100 of you want this shirt out there, we'll make it. We'll make them.
But also like a shirt with like 20 lines of text.
It could be a good meme shirt, you know. Maybe it's like isn't there that thing where you can like copy and paste a whole movie script, the B movie, into something? Have you ever seen that? There's like this I don't know, this common thing on Reddit where you can copy and paste the entire script of the B movie into a comment.
Really?
And so we should do that on a shirt, just little teeny fine text all the way across.
That would actually be kind of funny.
Funny, right?
I like it.
Cool. Another comment here. I like the look of the slope of the clip point on the 3 over the 2.
That's fair. They are slightly different
Yeah.
here in the clip.
Yeah, there is a difference for sure. So it could catch your eye just a specific way.
Yep. Yeah. I would love a Knafs slip joint. We're working on it.
Yes.
It's coming.
They're coming.
I think prototypes on a Knafs slip joint that I will not show you for a long time are supposed to come in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, be excited. I hope they're good.
Yeah.
So what we didn't talk about in the prototype stage of this is you send something out to get manufactured, and then you wait. Mm-hmm. And it's almost like Christmas morning when it comes in. Mm-hmm. And you're either going to be like delighted or like totally bummed and sad.
Yeah.
There's
not
no
a lot of in between. Yeah, there really is not.
And
yeah.
you've seen that over and over.
yeah.
Things will come in and we're like, wow, this is amazing. And then they're like, oh, that's crunchy.
Yeah.
And that's why you prototype, is you want to know if it's good or not.
Yeah.
Ernest Powell. Hey Ben, had never heard of funeral potatoes before. You made them yesterday for Thanksgiving. They were a hit. So he had funeral potatoes for Thanksgiving.
My God.
That, Ernest, is a delight.
Great way to close us out of the mailbox section. Again, leave us any comments, feedback, and send us some stuff if you're passionate about it. And we are back with the Edge of Intelligence. This is the section where Jamie puts together something into ChatGPT or whatever and prints us out something, and we're going to read it. What does the robot have to say?
I love it. While you're opening that, I'm sitting here laughing because we have these segments and these title cards that come on screen so that we can like sit here and laugh at ourselves for a minute and then come back and make it feel normal. But
we had a quick discussion of how bad are we failing in that last section before we moved on to this one. So let's get right into this one. The prompt for this week, I need your opinion. I don't want to know what everyone else thinks. I want to know what you, ChatGPT, prefer. If you were to choose a handle material for a pocket knife, which one would you choose? Remember, this is about you, not everyone else. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say to that. If I were to choose a handle material for a pocket knife, I would go with titanium. Here's why. Number 1, durability. Number 2, weight to scale, strength ratio. Number 3, aesthetics. And number 4, feel.
wow.
What do we think about that?
That actually doesn't surprise me. Like, if I were to make ChatGPT a persona,
Yeah,
he kind of looks like a Silicon Valley tech bro.
a little bit.
Nothing against the tech bros, but he probably wears a Patagonia vest.
Yeah,
Coif.
yeah.
And that feels like titanium.
Like
to me.
titanium.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, is titanium the general accepted answer for what's the best scale material? And it might be best handle
It might
material.
be because it's pulling that from somewhere.
Yeah, like, and that would be my guess.
But also, like, do you think ChatGPT has a personality? Like, it's like, I am this.
No.
It just develops according to whoever's using it.
I think that it's probably got some voice cues, like speak softer or something like that. But otherwise, no, I do not think this thing has a
See,
personality.
I could see ChatGPT. Like, in my mind, that tech bro would carry something like the Microjet here.
Totally.
Like, this is classy. It could go in a boardroom and you could sip your Dom Perrier. I don't know what that is.
That would look good. Yeah, you'll
Did I get it right?
You'll have your champagne during your
Yes.
boardroom meeting. Yes.
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 Your boardroom meeting,
I
and
like
you can
that.
pull this knife out and be like, I'm a tech bro and I'm ChatGPT. Good to meet you.
Very nice.
What do you do for work?
Yes.
Right?
Heck yeah.
And we're back to Fresh Prince, and perhaps the reason this has been a stutter step episode is we've been so excited about what happens at the end.
Yes.
So what's the story on these, Austin?
Yeah, so these are from Matt. Matt Wheelwright, our 3D printer. He's also our ops manager. He does more than just 3D printing. But he and his sister went to FanX, which, if you don't know, is kind of like a regional Comic-Con sort of thing here that we host here in Salt Lake City every year. And they dressed up as the Mandalorian, and I forget the exact name of this character, but the other Mandalorian.
Yes.
So Matt printed these out on his bamboo 3D printer. He told me he spent many, many hours sanding it down.
Because you can't even see the layer lines.
Yeah, these are like perfectly smooth and beautiful. Like from a distance, you might think they're metal. But he said he like backfilled it with like some carbon medium or something like
Really?
so he could
I
make
didn't
it
know
even
that.
smoother. So yes.
These are literally 3D printed in his house, and if you look on the inside,
Yeah, the foam.
you can kind of see the layer lines there.
Yeah.
And then they've put foam in there and hot glued these face plates in
Yeah,
there.
and then they even Velcroed their little see-through pieces in there. So those are just Velcroed in there.
Oh, really?
Which is really
See,
cool.
this one's hot glued.
Oh, okay. Mine is Velcroed. Yeah. Really interesting. So
And
yeah.
they wore these around, and people took pictures with them.
Yeah, like seeked them out to take pictures. Like, you guys are dressed so well and you have such cool helmets. We need a picture with you.
This is like peak 3D printing. I think I'm on a layer somewhere much, much lower.
Me too.
Go ahead.
What's going on?
Dun-dun.
Let's go.
Dun, 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 dun. I forget how that song goes. Guys, we need to end this episode.
Take
We
us
have
out,
had fun. If you like this show, even when it's weird and funky, and you're wearing helmets that don't quite fit your head.
That's right. Can you see the chin?
Subscribe to the channel. Oh, by the way, oh man, we're not even done yet, Austin. Keep wearing that.
I'm wearing it.
We're going to end this absolutely weird episode with another absolutely weird thing. Here's what happened. I'm going to leave you with a spot from Germany and a song written by AI. We'll see you next week.
We need to leave all 20 or 30 seconds of that in.
Ricky, that wasn't the song.
No,
This is
leave
the
that in. That was
server.
amazing.
Okay, so a few weeks ago we got a song from a man on the internet. I found that man in Germany, in Hamburg. Here we are. Karsten, you are the author of, what's the song called?
Actually, it's the Lander song.
The Lander song, and we are going to sing the Lander song for you right now. Maybe not the whole thing, but just a few lines. Let's go. Hit the music.
In the night it shines so bright, compacting to the light. Creation takes the flight, cutting through the stars tonight. Just Prince, a genius unsurpassed. Cosmos we are cast.
All right, we gotta stop.
That's way too high. That's way too high to sing it. Way too high.